Thank you. Oki Dadanastada Ambawastich Tanse, and good morning, everyone. At 8 a.m. this morning, I signed the paperwork to declare a local state of emergency for the City of Calgary. This is not a decision that was made lightly, but as we shared yesterday at 5 p.m., the investigation of the broken feeder main pipe revealed that there are 5 more areas that are in need of repairs. Our city operations team has shared these necessary repairs mean that we are looking at another 3 to 5 weeks before water is flowing as it normally would in our city. That's 3 to 5 more weeks of your best water conservation efforts. And that is difficult to say, and I'm sure it's difficult to hear. So Calgary, what I can tell you is that if we can make this happen faster, we will absolutely make it happen faster. And I'm determined to do everything that I can to do so. I promise that to you. When the news broke yesterday, I reached out to talk directly with the Premier and the Provincial Municipal Affairs Minister, and both offered the full support of the province. At 8:30 p.m. last night, I also met with the provincial government's emergency management cabinet to discuss how the province can support our efforts to resolve this situation as quickly and effectively as possible. And I am very grateful to Premier Smith, to Minister McIver, and the provincial government for their continued support and encouragement to reach out and discuss the situation and give up-to-date feedback to them every day. While the city is reaching out to municipalities across the continent to source parts, equipment, and possible expertise, I'm also reaching out to the private sector, and they have been reaching out to me. Here in Alberta, we have a world-leading energy sector and companies ready and willing to discuss solutions. I want to bring our best and brightest to the table and get this issue resolved for Calgarians as quickly as possible. This is an all-hands-on-deck situation. Restoring your water service is my absolute #1 priority. I reached out to industry last night, and I look forward to meeting with them in the coming days and making connections so that members of our city emergency operations team have a sounding board. Now, I hate to do this to you, Calgary, but I'm going to have to do it again. We are going to need to reduce our water use, and I'm relying on you so that we can get through this. We have managed to stabilize our use because yesterday's numbers are the same as the ones from Thursday. That is good in terms of stabilizing the use, but we are still at that maximum threshold of 480 million liters used. I'm going to ask you to do a little bit more every day. We've also asked our commercial and industrial water users in the city to cut back on their use. And today I'm also asking all businesses to consider the ways in which you can reduce your water usage, and that can involve allowing many of your employees to work from home. If anyone is able to do so, I think it would save them the time of having a shower in the morning, and no one has to worry about what they look or smell like for that matter. I think it's an interesting solution to offer people the opportunity to work from home. And it also means you can manage your flushing at home, which you can't often do at work. And I know this sounds a little bit frivolous or trivial at times to talk about flushing toilets. But the truth of the matter is, if every household in Calgary did 1 less toilet flush per day, we would save 12 million liters of water. So it is a lot of water, and it is a way that you can help out. And while we are saying thanks today for the rain that's going to be coming to help our plants, our lawns, and our vegetable gardens, I thought it would be appropriate to quote my friend from Airdrie, Mayor Peter Brown. He said, "This is not a burden. We are fortunate to have taps that we can turn on where fresh water comes out. Right now, we just need to continue to use a little bit less." And with that, I'm going to turn things over to Calgary Emergency Management Agency Chief Sue Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. On June 5th, the Calgary Emergency Management Agency enacted its municipal emergency plan and opened the Emergency Operations Centre to enhance coordination in the midst of a large feeder main break that has been impacting citywide and regional water use. Since that time, we've been collaborating with over 60 agency members and partners, which includes city operations, city services, and some external partners. Our common goal is to work together to bring down water use until the feeder main is back in service, which we initially thought was days away. Since that time, we have received detailed analysis of the pipe conditions that tell us that the break was catastrophic. Additionally, the robotic inspection has revealed the need for additional repairs resulting in the need for 3 to 5 weeks of additional water conservation efforts and outdoor water restrictions. We've seen the complexity of the one fix that we've been managing for the last week. Now that we have 5 fixes to make, this will be a complex undertaking, and we need to make sure that we have a smooth path ahead and mitigate as many circumstances as possible. This morning at 0800, the City of Calgary declared a state of local emergency to assist us in helping return our water to service as quickly as possible. This work is our top priority as a city, and we're bringing every tool in the toolbox forward to advance and support this massive construction effort and to continue to ensure we have enough water for those critical life safety needs. Under the state of local emergency, it allows for coordination of action and is an indicator of the aggressive approach we're taking to restore water service for all customers as soon as safely possible. At this time, we are planning for all eventualities, and we may need to act quickly. And the coordination is integral for the magnitude of these repairs that are required and the seriousness of this situation. The anticipated length of time of this repair is also critical. We are working as hard as we can to bring that timeline down. We know what we need to do, and we're working around the clock to get it done. We're continuing to ask our citizens, our businesses, and our partners to stay with us, to do what we know we must do until we're back to regular service. We will have the regular update for you at 2 p.m. today on the technical side and the work that has been completed. And with that, I will pass back to the Mayor.
Thanks very much, Chief. I want to once again thank all of you who have been patient and diligent as we issued the call to action to reduce water usage. And that is folks in Calgary, as well as partnering municipalities like Airdrie, Strathmore, Chestermere, and the Tsuut'ina Nation. You're all making a very big difference, and you just need to keep at it. As I've said, every small action may feel like it's not much, but it adds up. And so thank you for everything you're doing, and please keep it up. I'd also like to thank the provincial government again for their willingness to engage and ensure that we know their resources are available to us. Events like this require strong partnerships to enable all possible actions that can restore service to the people. Thank you to all of the business leaders who have reached out to me over the last few days, offering to both support and act as a sounding board. The more we engage people with related experience, the better we will be able to address the situation and get things back to normal. And my gratitude to the folks in the City of Calgary, all of the experts from different areas. Thank you very much for working around the clock to restore water service to the people. We see your commitment and dedication in this important work. We will have more information, as the Chief has said, on the progress of repairs this afternoon at 2 p.m. right here at the Emergency Operations Center. And now I'm going to turn things over to Jose right there to field questions from media, please.
Any questions? Rick Bell, Post Media. Mayor Gondek, could you explain in sort of real simple terms for people what the difference is between having not had a state of local emergency and having a state of local emergency? What does that allow you to do that you couldn't do before? And if you could explain that pretty simply for people, because that's a pretty big set of words.
Yeah, the state of local emergency offers some powers, if you will, some abilities that the city ordinarily wouldn't have. And so one of the key issues here is that as we're doing the repair, we are attempting to do those repairs at the same time. And so we don't want to do this in a staged manner. We want to expedite things and do them quickly. So as we get materials and equipment coming in, there's going to need to be a staging process around those sites. And that staging process could require us to be going on to private property. So with the state of local emergency in place, we will be able to access the space that we need to do the staging to get the work done.
Yeah, supplementary, because this is such a, 3 to 5 weeks is longer than we thought it might be over on Wednesday. How do you plan to get buy-in from people who, when they heard the news yesterday, were no doubt, frustrated, upset? How are you going to turn that into, support for the measures you're calling for, like the water conservation, et cetera? So what's your plan to sort of get Calgarians on board for this longer haul?
I think it's incredibly important to make sure that we are speaking with people every day, and we are doing that twice a day now to remind people about how we're performing in terms of our water use, to let them know that we appreciate everything that they have been doing, and to let them know what's happening with the repairs. There was no one more disappointed than me, I will tell you, to find out yesterday that we were going to have to extend the time it would take to do these repairs. And I can tell you the crews at the city did not want to deliver that news, but we had to let people know that this was going to take longer because there was more work that needed to be done. And I will be here with you trying to exercise the measures to reduce water usage. I will be sharing all of your ideas, and I'll talk to you every day and let you know how you're doing in terms of reducing water use. We can do this together. We have done many things together in the past. We are good at this. And so I believe that Calgarians will rise to this occasion as they have done on many others.
Was it the fact that there are now 5 hotspots to repair instead of the 1, or is it that the reservoirs have gone below a third of the capacity or of the levels? Is that what triggered this state of emergency, or is it both?
So as I indicated, the state of local emergency was enacted today to give us provision to go onto private property if we need to, which I think will absolutely be the case if we're trying to work on 5 sites at once. That's really what led to this. The state of local emergency is not linked to the level of water in their reservoirs. And with the partnership we have with the provincial government, we are looking at every possible solution to get water out of the Bearspaw treatment plant to reservoirs. And so there's 2 things going on right now. One is enacting the state of local emergency to prepare for any eventualities, and the other is the ongoing work to get water into the places it needs to be.
In those potentially 3 to 5 weeks, how realistic do you think it is that we're going to need to move into other measures aside from just people doing their part on their own?
It remains to be seen what we need to do in the coming weeks. If folks keep at this in terms of reducing their water use, we'll be in a good place. We continue to rely on the South Glenmore treatment facility to pump water into many of the reservoirs around our city, and so far that's been working. But I know there have been days when supply was too close to demand. So we will continue to monitor the situation, and once again, providing you with daily updates allows you to understand how well you're doing or when we need to dig in and do a little bit more.
What was the water usage last night?
Last night's water usage was the same as the day before. We are at 480 million liters of water used, which is the threshold. And I would really like to see that number come down. So, the example that I gave you, if in each household we did 3 less toilet flushes each day, we would come down to the numbers we were at last Saturday, a week ago, when we were at about 440 million liters used. That would allow us to have that buffer in our supply.
What measures might you need to take then beyond what are being taken right now if Calgarians can't keep up the water reduction?
I can tell you that the water team is looking closely at what may need to be done. As we do the 2 o'clock updates here in the Emergency Operations Center, they are always coming forward with things that we might have to enact. We continue to listen to them and take their guidance on what might need to be put in place. At the present moment, I don't know that there's anything else that's coming forward, but it's really important for people to understand that outdoor water restrictions are in place. And that means you cannot water your lawn. It means you can't wash your car in your driveway. It means don't think that at midnight you can sneak out and water your garden because no one's looking. You need to know in your soul that you're using water. And right now we need you to please not do that and take advantage of the rain that's coming, everyone. Get your rain barrels going, get your buckets out there, get any type of container that you need that will help you through the days that there is no rain. So let's do everything that we can.
I know that this is all very new, but what suggestions do you have for Calgarians planning their summer? Swimming lessons, stampede, that sort of thing.
I can tell you that we're doing our best to get this repair done as quickly as possible. We are listening to everyone that's got great ideas. We are banding together with the provincial government, with the private sector to see what we can do to move things as quickly as possible. And I would speculate that we might be able to do things more quickly because we do have many partnerships in place, but it's hard to tell. So I would tell folks to please keep an eye on websites to know whether swimming lessons are going to move forward, whether any of the events that you have planned might face a disruption. So just stay engaged and stay tuned with the information sources that you rely on.
one more from Mr. Bell.
Yeah, just supplementary to that on the events. Stampede, of course, is huge. I know you were asked about it yesterday, and there was, not a lot to say because of the announcement that just happened. Could there be some sort of adapting that the Stampede might have to do if the situation was not resolved by the time the Stampede was on?
Yeah, I'm not in a position to speculate on what may or may not need to be done into July. What I can tell you is that we've got really good partnerships at the city with many organizations, including Calgary Stampede, and I'm looking forward to understanding their perspective after their meeting here yesterday. So I'm not in a position to speculate at this point.
Thank you, folks.